Deep in County Cork stands the eerie ruin of Kanturk Castle, a massive unfinished fortress often called the Old Court. Today it looks peaceful, surrounded by rivers and countryside, but its history is filled with fear, rebellion, curses, and dark legends. The castle was built around the year 1601 by MacDonogh MacCarthy, the powerful Lord of Duhallow. Ireland at the time was in chaos. English rule was spreading across the country during the plantation period, and Irish lords feared losing their lands and power. MacCarthy wanted a fortress strong enough to defend his territory against English settlers and soldiers, but this was no ordinary castle. Was enormous for its time, 4 stories high with giant corner towers rising almost 30 meters into the air. To the English authorities, it looked less like a home and more like a military stronghold that could launch attacks or even rebellion, and that fear became the beginning of the castle's downfall. The English Privy Council in London ordered construction to stop. Some stories even claim Queen Elizabeth herself was alarmed by how fortified it looked. The official reason was simple: the castle was considered too dangerous. If completed, it might become a center of resistance against English control in Ireland. But the darker legends began after the work stopped. According to local folklore, MacCarthy became furious when he received the order. He had imported expensive blue ceramic roof tiles for the castle. In a rage, he smashed them and threw them into a nearby stream. People say the water reflected blue for years afterward, giving rise to the name Blue Pool Stream. Even stranger stories spread among the local people. One legend says a seer, who was also a relative of MacCarthy, warned him before construction even began. The prophecy claimed the castle was too fine a home for crows, meaning it was doomed from the start and would never truly become a home for people. Amazingly, the prediction came true. The castle was never finished. Then came the most disturbing story of all. For centuries, locals whispered that there was blood in the mortar of Kanturk Castle. Some believed workers died during construction from exhaustion and brutal labor, and their bodies were hidden within the walls themselves. Others think the phrase may have literally referred to animal blood being mixed into the lime mortar, an old building technique used to strengthen walls. But the darker interpretation survived in local folklore because of the castle's grim atmosphere and abandoned appearance. Financial disaster followed. The MacCarthy family spent huge amounts of money building the fortress while also becoming involved in rebellions and political struggles. Eventually, they fell deeply into debt. The castle and surrounding lands were mortgaged to English financiers and later passed completely into English hands. In many ways, Kanturk Castle became a symbol of the collapse of the old Gaelic Irish lords, and so the castle stood unfinished, a giant, empty shell. No great battles were fought there. No victorious king ruled from its halls. Instead, the huge stone building slowly decayed into a silent ruin. Rain poured through roofless rooms. Floors rotted away. Towers stood empty against the Irish sky. Today, visitors still describe the place as haunting. The massive dark windows, hollow chambers, and abandoned stairways create an unsettling feeling, especially in fog or at sunset. While there are no officially recorded ghost stories tied directly to the castle, local legends and the unfinished nature of the fortress have given it a mysterious reputation for centuries. What makes Kanturk Castle truly dark is not just the legends, it's what the ruin represents. It tells the story of ambition crushed by fear, of Irish power being slowly dismantled during English expansion, and of a castle that was built to stand forever, yet was doomed before it was even completed. And that is why Kanturk Castle remains one of Ireland's most haunting historic ruins.